get to Peterborough from Liverpool by train, it's best to use the mainline routes. So in this case, we take the Transpennine route up to Leeds, get onto the East Coast Main Line, back down to Peterborough. Yes, I'm back in Peterborough, and I've come here by train, as you may have guessed, and we're about to head out to Hampton. I'm staying in a hotel in the city centre, so the first thing I have to do is take an early morning bus out to Hampton. Progressive Property is in the area of Hampton Lakes, and it's also very convenient that there's a big retail park there so that we can go and get any food or drink we want as the day progresses. I arrive for the registration at 8:30 and I'm one of the first, so as the sun's out I take a cup of coffee into the car park and find a little coffee table to put it on. As well as the basic property strategies, we also learn how to take good property photographs, and we hear from guest speakers and they tell us the why that made them successful in business.
1981, a nightclub in North Dublin is hosting a disco for St. Valentine's Day. Sometime after midnight, a fire breaks out in a room above. Unbeknownst to the 841 patrons below, the fire rages into a blistering inferno. Soon enough, the fire falls down onto the dance floor, turning the club into a hell that the victims cannot escape from.
Paul McNeve tells us the story of the nightclub fire, where he lost all his friends and nearly his own life as well. An amazing story of his recovery and a turnaround into a €50 million business.
'Tis I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh Danny boy, I love you so.
It's no wonder he's grateful for being alive and happy to burst into song in front of us, and if you want to read the full story, he has actually published a book all about it.
You so. Let us remember the suffering and pain, the survivors and the victims of the fire in our train. The mothers and fathers forever to mourn, the 48 children who never came home.
And I filmed that at the Progressive Property Training Room in Hampton, which is part of Peterborough. Say hello, Peterborough. Peterborough is straddled across the River Nene, and I try to show you something a little different every time I go here. On the south side of the river there's a boat which I've passed many times and never gone to see what it's all about. The boat appears to house two businesses. There's Charter's Real Ale Bar and the East Restaurant Company, which I gather is a Chinese restaurant. Here's this month's piece of wall art or wall mural. It's all around the outside seating area by this boat. I was passing this fair on the way back to my hotel every night, and I was catching it at sunset last month. But this is taken on my final night when I was due to go home the following morning, so I stayed up a bit late and I went for a walk around the fair to get a closer look at it. Moving back down towards the south coast, and we visit Chichester. Now, last October I showed you the cathedral was all behind hoarding, so we're doing a lot of renovation work, particularly to the cathedral roof. So it's now all been cleared away, and we're also going to look at that church opposite, St. Peter the Great, or was it? It still looks like a church on the outside, but this is what it looks like on the inside. We decided to get a caffeine hit before we headed back to Portsmouth on the bus. The bus service between Chichester and Portsmouth is the 700. It will take us back to the Hard, and the buses are quite nice inside. They have all the usual things that buses have these days, so you can charge your phone and get your free Wi-Fi. And having a two-line destination display at the front of the top deck is also very useful. Now we're filming from a rainy window in the top deck of the bus as we head towards Portsmouth and Southsea railway station. You'll see a train going over the top. We are going underneath. There's been roadworks in this area for the last couple of years when I've been coming to Portsmouth, so I'm wondering if someday it'll all be finished. And as we head back towards Portsmouth Harbour, a bus that's just left there is heading towards Chichester. And that was the 700. Let's stay with buses and head back to Cambridgeshire. The buses you'll see now, they're even smarter double-deckers than the ones we've just shown you, and this is on a route between Peterborough and Norwich, although we'll be getting on at Wisbech. The buses are run by Excel, and the route between Norwich and Peterborough has 4 variations, so the routes are actually not numbered, they're called A, B, C and D. As you can probably see, the seats are very comfortable, they kind of wrap you in nicely, they're reclined, and for those who've got families you can sit in a group of 4 with a table. Each seat has all the usual mod-cons, including wireless internet, a USB outlet to charge your devices, and even a button to stop the bus when you're ready. If you don't like sitting next to anyone, you prefer to be on your own, there's some seats for you too. And the displays on the front are a bit more than 2 lines of information. They're a full colour LCD and they give you a lot more information, satellite tracking and everything you could need to know.
Peterborough, Queensgate bus station. This bus exits to get off here for local bus services and city centre shopping.
And the city centre shopping is in the Queensgate Centre, and the bus station is just below, so you go down escalators, lifts or stairs, whichever you choose, to get the bus. Or if you're leaving the city by train, there's a bridge across the dual carriageway that will take you over to where the railway station is. Now, if you're thinking you didn't see much of Wisbech, I have some of that too, so let's finish this people and places spot with a trip back to Wisbech to see what's there. I'm glad I stopped at the Costa Coffee because they were giving away free muffins this afternoon, and I had one while I was in the shop and one for the road. Perhaps the girl thought I needed feeding up, although that's highly unlikely. A couple of things worthy of mention. The interesting way that they tell you which street you're in, and let's face it, it'll be quite difficult to steal these street signs. Wisbech has a castle, except it doesn't. If you look through the history, the castle's no longer there. It has a castle cafe and a few other things, but find me a castle? Well, I couldn't see one. Octavia Hill was born in Wisbech. I didn't know who she was either, but maybe you do. One of the founders of the National Trust. Her house and her plaque, you can see them here. And that ends our quick tour of some of the places we've been to see in the UK in the last month.